You're listening to a 58 Ember production.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Completely Fucking Clueless podcast. My name is Sarah Alice Liddy.
And my name is Audrey Jean Flowers, and we both use she, her pronouns.
That is right. And today, as you can see, we really do have a special guest. We say we have a special guest a lot of the time, but I think this one is very personal because you probably have seen us at like very interesting states. This is JP, and JP is a bartender at Henrietta Hudson, which you guys know we frequent to very
it's the
often.
only place we go to.
Yes.
We go nowhere.
Welcome to the pod.
Yeah. They're quite often.
Do you go there on your free time?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a question that I had because Liz was like, where are we going to go after this? And I was like, we only go to one place.
Go to Henrietta.
Yeah, it is rough going on my days off because typically they find a way to ask me to work. And then I'm like, sorry, I'm busy.
Yeah.
And then I show up and I'm like, hey, y'all, I found time.
Yeah, well.
Calls out of work because you're sick, goes in that night.
No,
exactly.
literally. Well, it's interesting because it is like one of the only like, you know, like queer, especially female-centric queer bars or like non-binary. So I feel like where else are you going to go?
Limited options.
There's like only 2 or 3 other options unless you want to go to like a more like gay man traditional bar, which I don't love going to a lot of the time.
If you've seen our staff, it's like, it's a small world after all. It's literally every type of person, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Everyone comes to Hens. It's a whole demographic, every age, race, everyone.
I really do. I forget. I was reading into like the history of Hens, and I really love. I think they did it sometime after the pandemic, where they officially like made their tagline like a queer bar built by lesbians.
Yes.
I think it's like just a beautiful way of putting it. Of like it is a queer space that is open to everyone, but like acknowledging the history of it being founded by lesbians.
Oh yeah.
Wait, that's good to know because Olivia's my partner, and last night we were trying to figure out like how to describe Hens because I was like, I don't like necessarily, at least when I go in there, I don't feel like it's all lesbians. Yeah. So I was like, how do I describe it?
That became their like official tagline.
She said, I did my research.
It's queer Disney World in my book.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
That's how I think of it. That's why I love to go to work every day. I'm like, you never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to see. And even before I worked there, that was my number one bar. I was there every single day. And that's how I made all my friends. And it's so easy to make friends. Yeah. I went there sober. I went there not sober. And made all different types of friends that I still talk to this day.
I love people watching there.
Yeah, no, that.
I bet.
You know how they say you could sit on a corner in Manhattan for 30 minutes and see something you've never seen?
Yes.
Do it in Hens. Even more intense.
That is so funny. Well, that's actually our first question for you is like, why did you want to work at Hens?
Before you start.
You want to pour the shot? Sorry, guys. I'm going into podcaster mode, but we are going to take a shot.
I just wanted to make it so you could put the bottle down.
Yes.
And be holding it, being ready to do it.
Audrey's my natural state, just holding a bottle. So.
Audrey's a good host. I'm like going into it.
But you're the one who looks at the questions that we've written down. We always say, I get us off the rails, she keeps us on.
That is 100% right. All right. Pass. Oh my God, look at these cute little cups.
They're so adorable.
Little tins.
My favorite shot glass that I have is like a very vintage Playboy one that's like a little sexy lady.
Ooh.
But it's also big, and I always underestimate how big it is and how much liquor is in it. So that's another reason I like it.
That's great.
Cheers, you guys. Happy podcasting from over here. I'll chings. Oh, you're not doing your eye thing. She does this very intense eye contact.
Cheers. You'll have bad sex for 7 years.
Can't risk that.
I always say I've had too much bad sex to risk it. Sorry, that sentence was taken over by my reaction.
The pain.
Thank you.
I hate that tasted like water for me.
She's like, and I need Sarah's water. See, I only take green tea shots, and green tea shots are like sweet.
Yeah, it's Jameson masked in peach schnapps and stuff.
Look at her. She's like,
I'm
a single tear comes down.
wah, wah, wah. Well, we did it, you guys. See, I told you we go out sometimes.
I really just I'm a weedy person mostly, which is so funny because I remember being such a little judgmental bitch in high
About
school.
no, same. I've recently gotten into, because my partner and I went to Salem, and you suggested this dispensary, and I was like kind of just curious about dabbling more with like edibles and stuff like that because I have anxiety and stuff, and now I'm like doing them like twice a week.
I'm just too depressed to drink very often. Yeah.
I get that.
Side effects.
And they are like a depressant, except for tequila.
No, that's actually a myth. I looked it up the other day. That is not true.
So Snapple lied to me?
I guess. Wait, that was on Snapple?
That was my Snapple fun fact of the day.
But no, I went and Googled it because I was like, oh, that's so interesting. I wonder why that is. And so I went and Googled it, and it's fully a myth.
Oh,
love that.
They think the reason why people have that association that came to be, sorry, this is going to be a mini rant.
No, it's okay.
Is because where you tend to drink different things. Like the occasion you'll drink wine is different than like tequila shots tend to be for going out when you're already sort of amped up. So that's why I think we have this association with it. But no, it is also depressant. It's alcohol.
Good. I don't even like tequila. I didn't want it to have any more pros.
Well, I'm still going to drink tequila anyway.
Yeah, Audrey drinks tequila.
I'll drink
just
tequila
don't.
tonight for you.
Okay, now let's get into it because I want to know all the tea. I've been waiting for this interview. I'm so excited to like just get to know you more because I feel like we see each other in a very like you're working, and so there's professional boundaries.
Busy.
And and you're busy.
Always busy.
So tell us, why'd you decide to work at Hens?
I love this question.
Okay, give it to us.
Because it's completely fucking clueless.
Yeah.
That's the story. It was not planned. I'm very much a person that lives in the present.
Okay.
To the max. I moved out and moved to upstate New York and started managing a sushi bar in Binghamton, New York.
Okay.
Never had sushi a day in my life. I swear to God. I looked at the menu. It's all in Japanese. I've never touched fish because my mother's like, you're not going to like it. I don't like it. Like, right, that's how that works. Taste preferences get passed down. But yeah, I was managing a sushi bar during COVID times.
Yeah.
Getting a little money from the government. And I woke up one day and I was like, I can afford to live in Brooklyn. So I did. Then I moved to Brooklyn and I'm like, okay, so now I'm in Brooklyn and I have no job. And this was the time where everyone's like, COVID's over, it's fine. And then Omicron hit.
Yeah, I got,
And I was like,
Liz and I both got Omicron,
me
actually.
too. I got it on not Halloween, Christmas.
My whole family got it over Christmas. I managed to not get it. Came back to New York. A week later, I get it.
I'm a little ashamed of my story behind it. We went to SantaCon. And
I was working SantaCon and that's how I got it. So
yes. And so Liz texts our group chat and is like, hey guys, like I just want to let you know, like the girls that we went to this Harry Styles bar night with texted us and said they got COVID. I was with them and I just tested positive, but I bet you guys are okay. And you know, because I was babysitting kids at the time, I was like, let me just like see. And I had COVID.
I was supposed to fly to Utah and go ski. And I hadn't taken a flight yet in COVID. And then I tested positive the day before I was supposed to take my first flight of COVID. So I've only taken 2 flights in COVID.
So COVID kept you from Utah.
It did.
Thank you,
I
COVID.
wasn't able to ski. Well, it was for skiing.
Oh, okay. Fun activities.
She's
We
like
love.
skiing.
We love.
Skiing on my parents' dime.
Oh, we love
Their
that
guests,
even more.
Their guests got COVID, and so they were like, "You and your best friend can come if you want." And so because I tested positive, my best friend didn't get to go either, and she's a little bitter.
Oh my
Julia.
Julia.
But yes, why Hens? Tell us all.
Yeah.
So yes, Brooklyn. Sorry,
Brooklyn.
bring it
I'm
back.
in Brooklyn. I was on the border of Bushwick and Ridgewood. Me and my cat taking on the world. The big city. And I was like, I have no job and rent is a lot here.
Yeah.
I had enough of a cushion from the president that I could, live a little bit without working. And then it got to a point where I was like starting to get financially insecure. And I was like, I need to find something to do. And that's what got me in the rabbit hole of when you need money and you live in Brooklyn. So I started doing extra work, a little behind the scenes.
Oh, the
yes.
camera. Yeah.
I also do stand-up comedy.
Yes, we do know that.
Yeah. Just a little side gig, side hustle, little hobby. So I had headshots and everything.
Okay,
and
cool.
It was easy to just like make a profile on the site that hires extras and like put in for different things.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up on the set of And Just Like That.
Oh my God.
Which I had never seen Sex in the City a day in my life.
Wait, that is so
I just missed that phase. I met a girl like a year later that educated me on that, but I had no idea what Sex in the City was.
I watched it in high school, coming of age. It's an iconic.
I watched some of it in high school.
I knew it was iconic.
Yeah.
I heard of the name, didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So they just tell you like it's so sketchy. They like show up here and then they just tell you where to go.
I'm like, I could be murdered. This is
No,
like 5
fully.
a.m. and I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like
fully.
I'm
Been
just
so
hoping
close
and praying.
so close to death so many times for a quick bag.
One time when I went to one, because it was literally like 4 a.m. that I was going to catch a train, a random man started chasing me. And I managed to escape him, but then I was running because I was running late because I was running away from the man chasing me. And a man who was on a bike, there was literally no one around, he pulled over and he was like, hey, are you running from someone? And I was like, no, I'm just running late. And that made me feel so good about the city that this man pulled his bike over and was like, hey, are you running from someone? Just to make sure. And I was like, no, but thank you. I was earlier.
People do care. So I end up on the set. We're filming in Chelsea Market.
Okay.
For some scene, and I see Sarah Jessica Parker,
Slay.
which in my brain I was like, that's the girl from New Year's Eve.
Wait, that like movie with all those celebrities?
Yeah. No, that was
a bad movie.
Yeah,
like Lea Michelle's in it. Like that's what
they were a guilty pleasure. I enjoyed the film. I saw it with my mother in the movie theaters. Great memory. And I was like, oh my God, what is she doing here? And then like the other extras are like, do you know where you are? And I'm like, absolutely not. I Googled how to get here. There was a bunch of letters, a bunch of trains underground, and now I'm here.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, excuse me. And I'm like, oh, no problem, New Year's Eve lady. And then I found out what And Just Like That was. It was a spin-off
about
her.
Yeah.
About her. She's the main character.
Yeah.
She's the main character. And so that was fun. I was there for like 16 hours.
Oh my God.
Because they just like do the same scene over and over and over. Especially with that big of a show, they're not gonna risk anything. And they had to like shut down multiple stores in Chelsea Market, which I'm sure was a pretty penny. But yeah, I got out at like maybe 2 a.m. They fed us well. I will say that. Ate the best food I had had in a long time there. And then I went to Cubby Hole after.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I ended up on a set for like a Disney original movie.
Okay.
Which is hilarious. I like watch these movies just because I know them in the background to see where I am.
Yeah.
And I remember being on that set and trying to get someone to talk to me, like fake talk to me.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted anything to do with me. And that's am I allowed to curse?
Oh yeah.
The title is a swear.
I know, I just want to make sure.
No, you're so good.
That's the fucking scene that they got, is me in the background like,
because you know what?
Pretending to act.
You are, what was it? What's that line about something in acting that we learned at school?
Living truthfully under imaginary circumstances.
There you go. You were living truthfully. Like you were trying to talk to people. And so that action is probably what they were like, that's real.
They were like, we don't care
real.
about what's happening here. What's happening back
What's
there?
there?
Yeah.
That's where the truth is.
It's so fun. I looked so goofy at the time too. My hair was like, after a terrible experience with a hairdresser that did not know how to cut curly hair.
Yeah.
Just gave me like a little fro and had bangs. And I looked a little weird. The style did not fit my face. And yeah, no one wanted to talk to me, but that was caught on camera. That was amazing.
Yeah.
To have in history forever. And then I ended up in a pyramid scheme, which everyone should. At least once in your life, you should be in a pyramid scheme. And I was selling insurance for about a week. Spending more money than I was making to have that job because you need to get like certified by the state, which I don't even know if that's real. They could have made that up. And I took that test 4 times and failed. So then after that, I was like, you know what? I gotta bartend again because that's what I did at the sushi bar. So I started bartending at a comedy club / bar, and it was a terrible experience. And then I randomly walked to Hens one day to drown out my sorrows on New Year's Eve. Back to New Year's Eve. It
all comes full circle.
It was New Year's Eve, and they were throwing a party, and I went there extremely hammered and just happened to run into the owner. I mean, she was giving cookies. I love Lisa.
That's so cute.
And I was like, I would love a cookie, knowing I hadn't eaten in like 3 days. So I would love a cookie, please. And yeah, I was like, yeah, I used to bartend and like blah, blah, blah. Just like random conversation. I'm like, yeah, I do stand-up comedy. I have everything you can eat. I'm a Gemini. I have everything. You pick a personality and I will give that personality to you.
Oh my God.
On a daily basis. And yeah, they called me in the next day.
Oh shit.
And were like, are you willing to do anything? And I was like, yes.
Are you It sounds like a cult. Are you willing to do anything?
Back in
Yes,
another pyramid
I am.
scheme.
I was literally. I was so willing. I'm like, I just exited one. Might as well start a new one. No, but they at the time, since it was Omicron, we were making Hens a quarantine space, so everyone needed to get a rapid test before they came in.
Before you got into the bar?
Yes.
Oh,
And you'd be
That must have been
surprised.
so expensive.
Oh, so expensive. But I mean, Lisa really prioritized how
the safety.
safe,
Yeah.
the safety, like,
But,
took
like,
safe space to a whole nother level.
No.
I wonder if like the cost of COVID tests was like even like how much money could they possibly have been making with the cost of how many tests?
I have no idea. But
Wow.
that space was quarantined.
How
Like,
many people
everyone
like were
was
allowed
covered.
in there during that time?
Like the exact amount
Okay.
was I guess whatever the
rules.
Yeah.
the occupancy rules. But I was the person that had to make all of these people showing up proper drunk, proper twisted. I had to make them fill out paperwork to get the information from their COVID test. Which, like, I get I was the newest hire. That's the stepping stone. The
Okay,
first
so you
stepping
started
stone.
like kind of at the bottom
started-
and then you get
Yeah,
okay.
that's how everything starts at Hens. You start at
Okay.
the bottom, you earn your way to the top. Like,
Okay.
you
And so
can't
the
just-
top is like being behind the bar.
Yeah, you can't
Okay.
just hop into being a bartender. No matter how much experience you have, like you have to start doing either wristbands, bathroom line, bar backing,
Okay.
and prove that you respect the space and the people there and put in the work,
Okay.
which I really respect.
Yeah, that's cool
That
to know
whole
because, as somebody like who goes there and we see all the different people and their different like ways, it's really interesting to
Yeah.
hear that.
If you're there long enough, you'll see them like slowly move up, and then new people come in.
Okay. Wait, now I gotta like see because there's a couple people I've noticed that are new. Now I gotta like look at their trajectory.
Yeah, no, it's so cute because like anyone can become a bartender.
Yeah.
If they are a bar back first, and I'm training a bar back right now to be a bartender and just like
Cool.
teaching them how to make a green tea shot. And I'm like, you're gonna do great, sweetie.
Aw.
And so yeah, I was teaching people how to fill out paperwork or like holding their hands as they were like, I just want tequila, and I'm like, just write your email right there, just really quick,
Oh my
really
God,
quick.
the
Then go over there.
email.
They'll give
That's
you a rapid.
hard.
Yeah, that was
Damn.
wild. And then moved up, started doing wristbands. Then I was bar backing, and then I started doing happy hour, which is like 6 to 8.
Yeah.
And bartending, and then bartended at the front bar, and then bartended at the back bar.
So is the back bar like the place to be?
In my opinion.
No, I love the
I
back
love the
bar.
back bar.
I love the back bar. It's easy to get to. I'll never forget like my
I also
first
like that most
pride.
people, not most, some of the people don't know it's there. So generally, there's less
Yeah.
people there.
There's
Yes.
less people there, and typically people come in the front.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like everyone's first drink, then they go on dance floor party, and then front bar takes care of the rest.
Yeah.
But no, I love it so much.
Oh,
I
that's so
love it.
great. How were like, I mean, I guess it was different because you were working like during COVID, but maybe shifting to like when you started bartending. Like, how were those first few shifts? Like, was it overwhelming?
At Hens?
Yeah.
Mm.
No, because happy hour is very chill.
Okay.
And people that come in are very
So they really like kind of work you up to like the big
truly.
spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you take every step.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love the back bar. I have such a thick ass too. When I was in the front bar, because the front bar has 2 bartenders.
No, I
So you have
know.
to like shift past each other a lot,
Yeah.
and it's like this ass. You can't. You
Yeah.
can't. You just can't. But the back bar is perfect because it's just me.
I-
Just rapid pace, and I love speed.
Yeah, I mean that is wait, that's like such an important part of it all is like the speed of it all
I
because
love it.
like people
Tickles
can
something in the brain.
yeah, oh, I love that because like not even thinking about that like how fast you probably have to make like every single drink and like think about it because I know we'll go up and be like, can we have a double of this, a double of that, and like 4 shots?
Oh yeah.
Like that's a lot.
You'll see me like shaking with one hand, setting up cups with the other hand.
Yeah.
Working the POS. The other. Oh God, I love it.
Oh, see, but that's like so cool that like that you love and like it
Yeah.
gives you like that piece of joy and passion and stuff. Like I think that's so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, not using my degree that I'll be in debt for the next 40 years, but
Who
I'm
is?
thriving.
Who is?
is?
We
I
got
used to-
we got our degrees in music theater. Like,
Musical theater.
oh yeah, you did. We're right. Because
Yeah.
Oh,
we don't.
We have a
like,
BFA in music
We have our
theater.
BFAs in music theater. We went to Elon
Oh
University.
my God.
Yeah, that's how we met.
And I went to an arts high school.
Yeah, so
where
I-
I majored in theater.
I love that.
Yeah.
Theater
So
girls and
creative.
ready. And if you want to hear a story about Liz, how Liz and I got really close was I was in a show my senior year. Is called Anything Goes, and I was practicing my taps in the back. And
on a wood floor or something?
No, on tile floor.
Even worse.
And my tap slipped, and I landed right on my elbow, and I broke my elbow. And so the show must go on. So we did the show with me like fully like in a sling and cast for everything. And so I needed somebody to dress me, and I got to pick who that person was. And Liz and I had always been like acquaintances, but never had been really close. But I trusted her. And so she was the person that did all my quick changes for me. And that's when we really got close.
Oh my, that'll get you close real
Yeah.
quick.
Her and I became very good friends when we were in the same friend group, and we were very much friends. But when she came out as gay, we became better friends. And then when I knew like we're really fucking friends, she asked me to help her take some sexy photos for her partner for Valentine's Day. And I was like, okay, so we're friends.
Yeah.
So y'all close.
Yes. I was like, I feel like I could only do this.
It was so much fun. I was like art director.
I know. We had like the red light. Like it was a
You had
vibe.
a
It was a vibe.
playlist.
Yes. It was
I love
vibe.
the creativity. What are your signs?
I know
I know Liz is a Gemini.
I'm the
Yeah.
first day of Libra.
Libra.
I'm a
okay.
Pisces.
Pisces. Oh my god.
Yes, Pisces double Leo, if that means anything. I'm a double Leo in the other signs.
Oh wow.
I know.
That's a lot.
My best friend is a double
My
Taurus,
partner would say the
which I
same.
don't know what Tauruses really are, but I know that she
Stubborn,
tells people a
evil.
lot. Yeah, I'd say Julia's pretty fucking stubborn. She's
Who?
a double Taurus.
Who?
Julia.
Oh.
I'm seeing someone that's a triple Capricorn.
And so
I
what
don't
does
know if
that
that's good or
mean?
bad.
A long-standing bit in my stand-up has been that I hate Capricorns.
Oh my god.
Like I start out my shows being like, I'm a Gemini. Where are my Capricorns at? Like, and if people raise their hand like me. I'm like, okay, I just want to know who to stay away from. Like I can't stand a Cap.
Okay,
They're
now that you're
evil.
talking about somebody that you're seeing, I'm gonna shift and let's get into dating really quickly
Oh.
because I have so many questions. Honestly, let's start with Hens. For a lack of a better term here, do the Hens employees shit where they eat?
No.
Okay.
Good.
No. We know better.
Okay.
It's just messy. You know, you got to keep a professional environment and like, you know, lesbians. What starts so quick and passionate ends just as quickly and passionately.
Sure.
I'm literally in this. I forget. I think I was telling one of my coworkers who's also like a queer female about this. Like, I'm in this group that's like a group therapy for queer people with depression and anxiety that we meet on Sundays. And the first question my friend had was like, oh, do you think any of y'all are going to start hooking up? And I was like, well, A, it's over Zoom. We're not meeting in person. And no,
Yeah.
no, why was that your first question?
I feel like I have to
Gotta
ask because you
know.
see shows like Vanderpump Rules, like on reality TV shows, and like you're like watching them all have relationships with each other. So I'm wondering, like, let's say the cameras are away, like, is that actually happening?
Okay.
Okay, give us the tea. I see the tea in your eyes.
I will say right now, with the staff we have, no one has been involved with each other.
Okay, but
There have been
past
other points where that was
situation.
not
In the
the case.
past, may or may not
Okay.
have
Okay.
shot and ate and shit and ate. Shot and ate again.
Are you talking about yourself personally or other people?
Oh.
Oh, you know,
Okay, and let's say if it were you,
if it, hypothetical situation in a
Yeah.
if it were
a
you,
different
how
world.
have you gone about, you know, the professional boundary and like kind of
Mhm.
figured that out?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question, Sarah. I'm so happy you asked.
I'm nosy.
Well, you know, sometimes things end good,
Yeah,
and sometimes they don't.
right.
And when they don't, people sort of leave. And, you know, might be too intense of an environment. And then that's how we learn from our mistakes. And we're like, hey, we should be more professional in the future to avoid the situation. I mean, I will say, no, like 2 bartenders have ever been together. Because that would be crazy.
That would be
like
yeah.
working next to each other.
Damn.
Like bumping each other to get the Jameson. Like,
Mm.
you didn't wash the dishes this morning. Like,
oh my
it
god.
would be too much.
Yeah.
Way too much. But, you know.
Okay, so
We're
now
all hot and queer. Come on.
no, I know.
Sometimes
It's
you
just
just
like
have
time
kids.
together
We
and
spend
it's like,
so much time
right.
together.
And I think like no matter what, like if when you're working with somebody, I just think like there is like I worked in a summer stock right after college in Indiana, and like the amount of relationships that happen, and I think it is you're working together, you're living together, and so you just make a connection with somebody and it sort of happens. So I feel like it's only like a natural part of life,
No,
you know.
100%.
Yeah.
It's so natural, and being that we're all queer, it's like, come on,
Yeah.
you're asking for it. But but we've definitely we're like the most solid we have been now because we have learned from mistakes in the past.
That's good.
And, you know, we just have such a solid team now. I'm very happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
No,
that's
we're all
awesome.
just like we're literally a family.
That's so
Yeah.
nice.
No more Hens.
No more.
Okay,
Not allowed.
so in my high school, that's what we would call dating within your major, within your grade. We call it incest.
Yeah.
Because it is.
Because you know, you're so close. You spend so much time with people. I mean, I see the Hens crew more than I've seen my family.
Right. I mean, and especially your guys' hours, like you're there. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you're one of the, like you guys stay up until 4 fucking a.m.
Yes.
Like that's a long fucking time.
Yeah.
I go to bed at 10 p.m. most nights.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the sun in 3 years. I mean, I'm at Hens Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Wow.
Which makes dating even harder because it's like,
Yeah.
people are like, do you want to go on a date? You're off Sunday or you're off Monday or Tuesday. I'm like, at what time?
Yeah.
Because either Sunday or Monday, I'm sleeping the full 24 hours.
Right.
And then with my body clock, I'm not waking up till the sun goes down. You want to get coffee? You want to get coffee at 8 p.m.? Maybe 9? I'm going to be late.
So your dating life, are you like on the apps? Like how have you been dating in New York City? I feel, okay, we're going to preface this with our audience will come to us with a lot of questions about dating, especially in the queer community. I'm a serial
We're not
monogamous.
very helpful.
I've been with my partner for like 3.5 years. We met when we were 12 and 13. Like, you
You're
know.
happy. We
Yeah,
get it.
I'm
That's always
happy.
every time she talks about it, I'm like, and they're cute, and it's disgusting.
And your life's perfect. We get it.
But and then you're like, I'm not into dating right now. So we're like, we don't give the best advice on it. So I think like,
I don't feel like dealing with people. I'm also on a very high dose of SSRIs, so
I feel you on that. Lexapro, Effexor, Wellbutrin, Zoloft.
Yes.
I've been through them all.
it's like much
I
to my
feel
mom's
that.
disappointment.
I mean, they work. They work.
yeah, they do.
They do.
They
Yeah.
do.
They also work at doing something else.
Yeah, they do. That's why I'm not on them right now, but have been on them for the past 2-3 years.
Yeah. So what's your dating life like?
I mean, I'm kind of an old school they, them now. I like to meet people in person. I do.
Yes.
It is
Okay.
true.
Okay.
That's like my biggest problem with dating apps is like I feel like a lot of people are like this, but like I can't even tell if I'm attracted to someone via a dating app. Like
100%.
whereas if I meet someone in person, I know within 5 seconds
That's
if
the
I want to
thing.
be
Why am I
involved with
gonna?
them.
Why are you gonna talk to someone for like 3-4 weeks via text and then meet them in 5 minutes and be like, oh, I don't like that you do
When
that.
I'm on dating apps, I literally say like, "Hey, can we skip the chit chat and just meet up in person?"
That's exactly my opening
Slay,
line.
Audrey.
Hi, where do you want to meet?
Because also, if you do all the bullshit questions ahead of time, then what are you going to talk about when you meet them in person?
Exactly. That's another thing. I've done that, and then I've gone to the date, and I'm like, so I know every detail about your entire life, past trauma, zodiac sign, your 3 exes.
It's a past traumas.
We have trauma bonded via Hinge,
Yep.
Yeah.
and now we're sitting in a bar. What do we do? Yeah, I have been on the apps, especially when I first moved to Brooklyn and didn't know a single soul.
Yeah.
And I was doing comedy, so I was like, I need something to work with here. Let's go on some bad dates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Literally, literally. I think I said this to Olivia
only
the other
reason I ever
day.
date is to get content
was
for the podcast.
Literally,
Fully.
I was like, Audrey needs to start
It's
going on
amazing.
dates for content.
Yeah,
I was like, everyone's overhearing about my story.
Now that I'm a couple months out of my like 6-month depressive spiral, feel like maybe it's time to start dating again.
Yeah, no, it's fun. And, you know, you don't have to continue or
Yeah.
start anything. You can just, you know, see what's out there. And then you're like, never mind, I was fine alone. And then you can stop. Or you can be like, I'm in love and we're moving in next week.
Literally. What is your like go-to first date? Like coffee, dinner? What is
Ooh.
it?
I am a child at heart. I am. I just love fun things. So my first date is like, we're either going to Build-A-Bear, Dave & Buster's, some sort of arcade.
Oh my
like
God,
we're doing
that's
something
so
fun.
fun.
I think activity dates are the
Yeah,
best.
activity
Food dates are
the best.
a
Food-
lot.
Yeah. Nah.
Build-A-Bear. I want to go to Build-A-Bear now.
No,
I love
that's my ideal
that.
first date. is
That's so
Build-A-Bear.
cute. Wait, that's really
Yeah.
cute.
It's so
Oh,
fun.
It's especially really cute if the relationship works out.
you get a
If it doesn't,
souvenir.
less.
Yeah, and,
Less cute.
You know, I have a lighter. You could just burn whatever you made, and then you start fresh. You know,
Oh my
no, but
Have a little
bowling,
ceremony.
pool, love it. Yeah, a little ceremony
That's
to
so-
mourn the week-long relationship. Yeah.
Have you ever at Hens? Because I imagine There's only like Cubbyhole and Hens really like in the city proper. I imagine that there's a lot of people that go in there and try and flirt with you and give you their number.
That's never happened.
Oh, I was like, JP. I'm like, what?
I was flabbergasted.
That just comes with being a bartender. There's also a weird thing that I've noticed that when people are drunk, they are more attracted to who is sober. And like seeing me work, I feel like people are attracted to seeing me being sober and working while they can't look at their phone with an eye open.
Interesting.
Get that.
Yeah, I've really dove into that dynamic, and I'm currently writing comedy on it because it's so interesting.
That's so interesting. I've never thought about that.
Yeah. Maybe because I feel like more vulnerable. They're like, this person is
They're
sober. They're in control.
Right.
They can take care of me. And I'm like, I'm not getting home till 6 a.m. And I live in Long Island. You ain't like,
Have you ever gone on a date with somebody that's giving you their number at Hens?
Yeah.
You have?
No.
No.
But it's cute, I've fallen in love for a single week, and then you start fresh the next week. But
I love that. That's so funny.
I'm very much a hopeless romantic.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it's literally
And
same here.
people, it's just the way I present, they, them, more mask. People look at me and assume I'm a fuckboy. So when they see me working, bartending with,
I would say you do give fuckboy energy.
I can't help it. But I think it's funny because people give me their number and like, if I'm like attracted to them, I'm like, all right, let's go on a date. And they're like, yeah, let's fuck. And I'm like, I brought you flowers.
Oh my God. Wait, that's melting my heart. Like that's so sweet because I think like, especially in like the type of, 20s, like you're 25, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like at our age, like it can really go either way. It's either there's people that are looking for like something serious, like a relationship, or it's like, let's fuck. But mixing those two people is like,
Yeah.
Bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bad.
It's rough being the opposite of what you present because then you attract a certain type of person and people just think I'm fucking every single person that comes to Hens and gives me their number. And I'm like,
No.
I need to get, I need to be a little more emotionally invested. And so, yeah.
Do you feel like you like the attention that like the Hens customers give you?
Depends on the day.
Okay.
It definitely
Okay.
depends on the day. And like, I show up to work sometimes and I'm like, I don't really like my outfit or, I feel bloated and I'm not feeling my best. So when people flirt with me, I'm just like, you're lying.
Have there ever been times where it's like uncomfortable? Because I worked as a hostess. Like I know there was times where people would flirt with me, and it's like I have to be nice to you because this is my job.
Yes.
But particularly because I worked at a yacht club in my hometown, so there was old men who had literally watched me growing up, and I was like, please stop flirting with me.
Oh, yeah.
Is there ever like a point where it's like,
Too much.
hey, I'm trying to do my job?
Yes. And you have to sort of work around that the best you can while still having a smile and being professional. So there has been a few certain times and an incident or two where people just take things too far, try and come behind the bar, and you're like, you can't.
No way.
Or like, kiss me, and I'm like, I am your bartender. I'm on the clock. I'm not kissing you. There's a full room of people on the dance floor that are looking to be kissed. Just get in there.
Yeah.
Get in there.
My partner brought that up, like thinking about, I forget where the fuck we were, but somebody was like flirting with like one of the bartenders. And Olivia was like, they're like working. Like it's just like so inappropriate. Like they can't like really do anything about it. And what if they don't want that attention? Like I think there's a way to like do it and be like, hey, like I'm interested. Here's my number. And then like walking the fuck away.
Bingo.
You
And that's the
know?
thing. The one patron that I did have a little situationship with
Sure.
for a period of time did it perfectly. And it was getting on my nerves that day because people were like keeping me from doing my job and trying to like get to know me while I'm working.
Yeah.
And she came up to me and was like, listen, I know you're working, which is the first thing everyone says. Listen, I know you're working, but, and then they either do it respectfully or go into long tangents and are asking a bunch of questions and there's a bunch of people waiting for drinks. But so she came up after I was already a bit agitated. She goes, listen, I know you're working. I'm like, what? Like I was done with it at that. I was like, what? She goes, I know you're working. Here's my number. I think you're cute. Walks away.
Wow.
She's
Yeah.
like, I know you're working. I don't want to like interrupt. Here's my number, Instagram, whatever. Hit me up if you're interested. And that's all it took.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's a good move because like hearing you talk about it, like I feel like that's so hard to like be working and trying to focus and trying to serve people, but then somebody's sitting here like asking you deep life questions
Yeah.
to try and like possibly get with you.
No,
Like
fully.
a fast-paced place. Like
Exactly.
there's shit you need to do.
There's a
It's not
lot
like
to
you can
do.
just like
Yeah, like I'm thinking about like being
What's
there
your
right
life
now.
Like, where's the leather couch? Let's sit down and talk about our daddy issues. No, we can't do that. We cannot. But
What are like some of the best parts of working in Hens and some of the most challenging?
I'd say the most challenging is working with drunk people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being that Hens is a safe space. Like, Hens is the only bar in any borough that will take care of you.
Mhm.
If we see you getting sick or anything, we are there. You lose something, we're gonna help you find it.
Yeah.
There was this girl that made a TikTok actually about like an earring that was her grandmother's. She's like, I lost this earrings. These were the bars I was at, and I saw it, and I looked in like our lost and found, and I found
Oh
it.
my god.
And we got it back to her, and she was like, it was so sentimental, and like the TikTok kind of went viral. Like, we will hold the things you lose for months on end.
Yeah.
Waiting for you to come back and get it. We set up a chair. We have so many security guards too. So
Oh,
much
I
staff.
love the Hen security.
Oh, yeah. They will pick you up off the ground, put you in a chair, give you water. How are you getting home? Where do you live? We're getting you an Uber. We're getting you a cab. Like, we will take care of you. The amount of times I've been in a bar and just like on the floor, had a bad night, like after a
Yeah.
breakup, and you're just like, yeah, I'm sleeping on this floor tonight, like covered in
God knows
spilled
why.
drink, species, who knows? Like, it's crazy the amount of effort that gets put in to make Hens a safe space.
Yeah, you can. I mean, as somebody that goes there, and especially so, like I came out in 2020, and it was my first Pride was I forget when. Not this past year, the year before. And I went to a drag brunch with two of my friends, and they're both straight. And they were like, what do you want to do? Like, where do you want to go? And I was like, well, there's these two bars that I know, and like I've never been to them, and I'm really nervous. And so we went to Cubbyhole first, but I wanted to dance. So they're like, let's go try Hens. And I went into Hens, and I was like, this is so much fun. And ever since, like and the only place I go, or one of the only places I go, if somebody wants to go somewhere else, like I'm like, fine, but it's not as fun. And I'm just like, I think the reason I love it so much is because I feel like so safe and so accepted, and I can be so myself in there. And I think, I spent 10 years pushing down a lot of the shit that happened in my early teens. And so I think it's so nice to get to go to a place and not have to worry about all that like shit,
There's no worries at all.
Yeah.
Literally accept everyone. And I remember like hearing stories of like way back when where it was like, if this is a lesbian bar, men get rejected at the door, or you have to bring a certain amount of queer women with you. And like even lesbians getting into a gay bar, which like now everyone goes everywhere.
Right.
But like a lesbian goes to a gay bar and they're like, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Walk away,
Yeah.
And now it's like everyone just wants to have fun with everyone.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's my favorite part of it.
We have like several we have several straight friends, was what I was about to say, which most people do, but I really do forget that like most of the world is straight and is outside of the little bubble I've concocted for myself. But like they love coming out to Hens with us.
Oh, yes.
And they have asked like, hey, is it fine that I'm here? I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And like it's just like they have so much fun too. And it's like I don't have to be scared here.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Which it's crazy how much more fun you have when you're not actively scared.
No, that's the thing. That's what I've noticed. Like a lot of straight women will come to Hens just to dance with their friends because they are not in fear of men.
Literally, no. I saw a TikTok about this the other day of somebody who we're interviewing in a couple weeks, and she was like, I just wish there was somewhere I could go with my friends to have a good time. And I was thinking about why I have enjoyed going out so much more as like a post-gradder. And I'm like it's because like I don't have to like fear people looking at me, making judgments on me and my body. And it's like when I go into straight bars now and there's so many men there, like I'm just like straight white men. I'm like, it's a lie. I'm like, holy shit. Like I feel very different than I feel like when I'm at Hens. And I think like my mindset goes back to like being in college and going to frats and like feeling perceived and like what do people think of me and like all of these things.
Yeah, that's what I feel is like so scary for me because my whole world is the queer community and Henrietta, Hudson.
Yeah.
That like I can't remember the last time I was at a straight bar. Like I'm terrified to walk into a straight bar. I don't even know what would I do. Like,
yeah, I mean,
what
it's
would I do? What would I drink?
interesting.
Like
Yeah.
it's just not my place.
It's interesting. I went over the summer. I went with my dad and a couple of like his friends, and I brought some of my friends and my partner. We went to this bar in like Jersey, and like there was a band. I love like live music, so we were into it. But I looked around and I was like, wait. Like, oh my gosh, there are so many men here. And then like I went to my partner, I was like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm like not really being like normal because I'm like freaking out just a little bit. And they were like, no, yeah, I get that. Like this is yeah, there's like a reasonable a reason to not feel like you can 100% be yourself in here, you know?
But like even like on the like flirting aspect, I something I've been aware of, like I've been out since I was in high school. No one even remembers me in any degree coming out to anyone. No one knows. Everyone just knew, I guess. I don't know. But like I'm so aware and have always been like so afraid of that like idea of the predatory lesbian that's like so much within pop cultures and like movies and whatnot. But like within Hens, like knowing that it is a queer centric space, like it's just somewhere where like you know you can go and you can flirt with a girl, and even if she says no or she says that she's straight, like you know she most likely won't, and she doesn't have the right to flip out at you as long as you're not hitting on her in a weird, uncomfortable way.
Yeah.
Like you know that it is fine. Like I would not go up to a girl in a regular bar and flirt with them.
Mhm.
I would in Hens, just because there is an expectation of this is okay.
Yeah. It's like truly, I mean, if I could choose my world, that's the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone I know is queer.
Yeah.
Everyone. And that's just how I choose to live my life. And that's something like my parents don't even understand. Like, why does everyone have to be gay? And it's like, 'cause I'm gay. Why does everyone have to be straight? You're straight. Like, that's your world. This is my world. And that's where I feel like most of the conflict comes with all of that. But have you shared your coming out stories on the pod?
Yeah.
You have.
You have?
You want to share yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Tell us.
So I came out in 2015. And I say came out with the air quotes because pretty much my dad walked in on me having sex with my girlfriend. And
That'll do it.
at that point, yeah, I was out. But it was a blessing in disguise because I was like, I mean, growing up in Long Island, having Republican parents.
Yeah.
It was just like not something I was going to be ready for probably ever.
Yeah.
And it was something like they, you know, had a hunch they knew before I did. But yeah, coming out to them was just something I couldn't even visualize how I would go about doing. I had like no education, no queer knowledge whatsoever or anything like that. Probably like only like autostraddle. And yeah, so that's how I came out. And then actually I wrote a poem about that.
Oh.
That's so gay.
Which is so gay. So gay.
My sister and I talk about this. She has like a little notes app thing of poetry, and I have a little notes app thing of song lyrics. And I'm like, that's so gay
It's
of
so
us.
gay. And I love it though. And I submitted it to like a literary arts competition and won
Oh
second
my
place. Which
gosh.
I was like, oh my God, I feel so seen. But yeah, that's pretty much how I came out.
Yeah.
And then everyone in my family was like, finally.
And so I know you're non-binary. Was there a certain like moment that you came out with that, or like certain like what led to that for you?
I feel like that was more so like the gender exploration was in college. with
Okay.
that. And at that point, I wasn't really around family as much. And also was at the age where I didn't feel the need to have to explain myself.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I go by JP, my pronouns are they, them. And they're like, we don't get that. And I'm like, didn't expect you to, but you know, my world, my people, the Hen staff,
Yeah.
they respect it. And that's who I'm around 24/7. So
My mom, for all of her friends, apparently I'm very good at explaining like pronoun sexuality stuff to adults.
I'm gonna
By
hire
adults,
you.
I mean
Should
parents.
make videos.
Well, because my mom literally now, like, if I call her and she has a friend who like has ever had a history or like an issue or not understood something, she has me go and explain it to them. And I would say like, I'm glad that I'm good at explaining it, but it does get like kind of exhausting to like. That's the frustrating with like coming out is like it's not just one. You have to do it constantly,
Yeah.
and like it's frustrating that the default is straight, and
Mhm.
anything past that like you have to constantly explain.
Yeah.
So I've attempted to explain to a lot of parents with, I'd say, marginal success.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like it's has to do a lot with their view on the world, and like there are a bunch of family members that are closed-minded and there are some that are just open-minded. You
Yeah.
tell them and it's like done.
Right.
It's done. It's like they them JP. Now they say me, "Hey JP." And then some will use the den name. And it's like, you know, you can't really teach an old dog new tricks, but you can if they are willing to.
Yeah.
And
100%.
they're willing to respect you.
If they like, I think the trying is what counts. Like my brother's trans, and like I don't really remember when he formally came out because I was so young. But like I remember like noticing when I was probably like 10 or something, and like a lot of my family are not perfect about it, but like they at least try. And I think like I see in my brother the reaction between the people in my family who at least try and they fuck up, but they try, and the people who don't.
Yeah, I think fear is a big factor. People
Yeah.
are terrified
Of getting
to
it wrong.
mess up.
Right.
And I'm like, there was no bullet wound. I'm fine. Like, you're trying, and that's a whole lot more than most of the people in my life have done. So,
100%.
I find it actually kind of funny. People are like, "Oh my god, I offended you," when they're like, "Girl, please," and I'm like, "It's fine. You can say girl, please."
Yeah.
Like, you know, there are some words that are very much gendered, but it's like they're not used like that. Like, "Hey guys."
Yes.
Yes.
It's like, you know, I'd say the only exception is when like someone's like, "Hey ladies," or like, "Afternoon, sweetheart." Like any of those like old timey
Afternoon.
straight men things. Like when someone like, especially a server comes to say, "Hey ladies," I'm like, ew.
Yeah. Yeah. It's usually now that you like whenever I'm like at dinner, it's always the hey ladies.
The
Like
context, you know.
yes, 100%. So before we let you go, I want to hear a bit about like stand up and comedy
Oh.
because this is something super interesting. How did you get into it?
Okay. So, started in college.
Mm-hmm.
I was like a huge fan of Girl Code and Guy Code on
Okay.
MTV.
Mhm.
And that's what got me to join the stand-up club for the college. It was called Bing Stand Up, Binghamton Stand Up. Shout out. And started with that, and I was doing comedy. They really just were like, "Get on stage, you have 5 minutes," and just trial and error. And I mean, you're performing for college kids, so that's like exactly my demographic. I'm like, we all have the same brains, we all have the same For You pages. I can make a joke and make all of you laugh in 5 seconds. So that was like easy. And then it got to a point where I got the opportunity to be the comedy chair on the SAPB, like the Student Association Programming Board,
cool.
to like book comics to come to the school.
It's awesome.
And I mean, it's a huge college, so they pretty much give you like a pretty decent budget, and
I
they're like,
bet.
hire a comic that you think the majority of students would like, and it's like a way for the school to give back. Like, thanks for selling your soul to our tuition, and here, Pete Davidson. So I got to hire like whoever I
Pete
wanted.
Davidson. That's
Yeah,
so fucking
I actually
funny.
did. Yeah, he came to the school, and that
Oh
was
my
super cool.
God.
That one sold out, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that was like his Ariana Grande era. But the
course.
first show I did was with Nicole Byer and Carly Aquilino,
Okay.
Awesome.
which are two comics. I mean, they've done much more now, but they started on like Girl Code on
Yes.
MTV. And that was like so full circle for me because I was like, these are two comics that I've looked up to and really like inspired me to do comedy. And I got to do that show. Blah, blah, blah. Down the line, I end up hiring Deanne Smith, which is a queer comic.
Okay, cool.
Huge fan.
All right, I
And
gotta look it up.
oh my God, they're amazing. They're on Netflix. I think it's like Comics Around the World or something like that. They're incredible. And I saw like a few viral videos on Facebook of them performing. And they're like, "Oh, they're in the area. Do you want them to come to the school?" And I was like, might as well. Like, I think that'd be great. And to also just show like a broad spectrum of like sexualities and whatnot.
Yeah.
And like, get these people out there. And then the person that was representing them to like booking them at the school was like, "Hey, I'm looking for a lesbian comic to open up for Deanne. Do you know anyone?" And me being also in the stand-up club, I was like, I know all the comics, and I am the token lesbian. So I was like, that would be me.
That would be me.
That would be me. And he was like, "Yeah, do you want to like go on tour with Deanne?" And I was like, "Yeah." So we just did like a little college tour around like the
That's
upstate
awesome.
New York area. It was amazing. And Deanne is just like the most genuine human I've ever met. And we both moved to New York at the same time. And we've kept in contact. They do like a monthly show or every other month because they're so busy at Union Hall. And keeping in contact with them and just like the opportunities they've given me has really helped me and kept me going.
Mm-hmm.
And especially my manager, Jerry. Jerry's still in Binghamton. I miss him so much. And he really just like set my career off, or like really inspired me to continue doing comedy. He's like, "One day you're gonna get famous and leave me behind." I'm like, "Jerry, no, like I'll never leave you behind." And he's just really, really kept me going. Like every time I bombed or had not a great show, because I performed around like Brooklyn and Manhattan where I'm not knowing what the audience is gonna be like, and might be a bunch of people that are like, what is they, them, what is queer? Most of the time is. And you're walking in blind, and you have your set, you can't really change it last minute. You can do as much improv as you can, but there are some people that we're just not gonna find the same things funny. We're from two completely different worlds. And Jerry's just always been there to be like, "You're amazing, like you're gonna be famous one day. And I'm like, all right, Jerry, calm down. But he's gassed me up like to the extent to keep me going. And I've been doing comedy for like 5-6 years now. And
Wow.
I'm still doing shows. I just did a show like Metropolitan, T for T, shout out. And yeah, I'm keeping up with it while I'm bartending pretty much full time. But
look, it's
Jerry
hard.
is such a
I
great
mean,
manager name. I don't know.
I
Why.
know Jerry. I was like,
is a
it's giving. Jerry is
like,
giving.
I have
I'm
a
like,
picture of Jerry in my
Yeah.
mind. I don't know if it's right, but I
he
feel like
was
I
at
exactly right.
Woodstock. He is old
That's
school.
exactly the man I'm imagining.
No, he's incredible. I love him so much. But yeah.
And one more question. When you like are writing a set, like what goes into that? Like how many jokes do you have to write? Like how much do you actually go off the cuff? Like how does that work?
I feel like now I've learned to just like jot down like a single word that will trigger like a memory or anecdote.
Okay.
You know, still working through it, but yeah, pretty much just living. I'm living in this world. It's so funny when you like really break it down.
Yeah.
So I'll write down like a bunch of like stories or just like one-liners of like funny thoughts I had while trotting across the street one day. And then I'll end up timing it and be like, oh, this happens to be 5 minutes or 6 minutes. And then I'll know when I get on stage, like I already have prepared 5 minutes. So try and work with the crowd, do crowd work for whatever your allotted time is.
Interesting.
To get through the set. Yeah.
How do you like navigate crowd work? How do you know what to say? Like how? Or like,
That's
do you
great
feel the vibe
question.
of the
That's a great
room?
question. I definitely feel the vibe of the room.
Okay.
Have to know, you know, what you're working with. It's
Yeah.
much easier for me to do crowd work at like any queer bar or
Right.
any like Brooklyn bar where people are around my age when I'm in like an old school comedy club in Brooklyn, or not Brooklyn, in what was it? Greenwich Village. Those like old school ones. I'm like, okay, so y'all are all double my age. Hate the gays and don't know what gender fluidity
You know
is.
what TikTok is?
Yeah, no idea. I'm like, my FYP. They're like, you're what?
Yeah.
FYI? And I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, no, it's definitely tricky.
That's so cool though. I admire people who do. I love going to see a comedy show, and I so admire because sure we've done a specific type of performing, but I don't think I could get up there just like by myself and try and make people laugh. Like I really commend people who do it.
Trying to make people laugh is deeply vulnerable.
Yeah.
And like when you fail, you know.
That's another thing I was thinking of, like what you were saying, like just getting on stage and doing it. It's like you also have to take into account who was before you.
Yeah.
Did they bomb and now the audience is like, I don't even want to be here anymore. Get me more shots. Or did they do amazing and now the standards are so high that they're like, oh yeah, last guy was better. So it really depends. And I've had some crazy scenarios where people have bombed in the most controversial aspects. I mean, comedy is so
Yeah,
it really is
nowadays, and sometimes it can be like, oh, you can interpret that different ways, and sometimes it can be like, no, that was fully racist, and you were wrong for that.
Right.
So going on stage after someone like that, it's like
the oh my God, the vibe of that room must be
terrible.
There's a lot of times where I see men's comedy, like particularly straight white men, where it's like the comedy is I hate women, and I'm like,
everyone's like standing ovation.
I know. I know.
And I'm like,
this is what I'm working with. No, yeah, there's been some great times, been some horrible times, but just remembering that like the good times are going to be amazing keeps me going, and also just knowing that every comic under the sun has had the worst day or the worst time on stage, has bombed the worst times, and you have to bomb a million times to make it.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Whitney Cummings taught me that.
Ooh,
I'm obsessed.
question. Have you ever watched?
Good for you.
What?
Oh, sorry.
I'm just like,
sorry, Whitney Cummings podcast. Good for you. It's amazing.
Oh, I do know her. Have you ever watched Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
I have seen clips, but it's on my list.
Well, it's very good. I do recommend. But I wanted to ask, which won't make sense, but I was going to ask, like, you get to see, like, sort of montages of her working on bits and sort of how, like, the mini adjustments that she tests to get to, like, the different places. Are you, like, more scripted where you tend to say the same thing every time and test out slight variations? Or is it a lot more, like, this is the general idea and I say the words in completely different orders every time, but it's the same theme?
I feel like I get very discouraged if people don't like my set. So then I'll change like the whole thing, but I have to remind myself to do that set multiple times and use different tones. And maybe I was speaking too fast the first time. People didn't even know what I was saying. There's so many little things like you were saying, like just the tiniest little things. And even in my like set notes, I'll write like say this like high pitched, or like say this low pitched, or just like wait after you say this. Give them a chance to process and laugh.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just, you get so nervous, you're spitfiring, and they're like, wow, I finished that set in 2 minutes and I have 3 minutes left and now I'm stuck on stage. Like, what do I say now? And tricky. It's very tricky.
That's so
psychological.
I know. I love going to see comedy shows, but it's so interesting to hear like what happens behind the scenes of it all and how it like comes together, because all I'm seeing is a person that is like up there, like very vulnerable on stage by themselves, like trying to make people laugh. So it's really cool to hear like the process behind it all. Yeah. Well, our last question for you, we ask everybody this. Can you tell us a recent time that you felt clueless?
It can be big, small.
Anything in between.
Yeah.
Every single day. I am clueless.
Yeah.
I'm very much like a live in the moment person, deal with a problem when it happens. And I'm always clueless. I never know where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do next. But I'm like, trust in the universe, trust in yourself, work on growth, and just like, as long as you're solid and secure with yourself, the world will work with you. And you can trust in the universe. And that's just what I've been banking on for 25 years. And, I think it's pretty well with where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I'm not in a pyramid scheme anymore, so I think I'm doing pretty well.
Hey, that's
not in a period scheme anymore.
I always told people our school was like big on sororities, and people like, are you going to join one? And I was like, I'm already in one cult. I don't need a second one.
Musical theater cult.
Yeah, selling insurance was not for me, but you live and you learn.
And that's the tea. That's the truth of this podcast. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. You want to tell the people where they can follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram, JP_Nicoletta, or on TikTok. Sometimes I've been making them like 7 a.m. before I go to sleep. And that's my name's JP.
Do you have any comedy shows coming up?
Oh, yeah.
I have to book one. You'll see. I'll post it on
Instagram.
post it.
Let us know.
Watch the stories.
Yeah, watch the stories, and I'll send like a direct DM,
Slay. And,
And like you said, direct DM.
Direct message. Strictly to you.
And you guys know you can follow us on Instagram at Completely Fucking Clueless.
And on TikTok and YouTube at Completely FCKING Clueless.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, JP, for being here. Have an amazing...
Thanks for bringing your...
Yes, and thanks for bringing alcohol.
We got to finish this bottle.
Oh, my God. Tonight's going to be a wild night, you guys. Have an amazing Tuesday. Have an amazing week. And don't forget to be motherfucking clueless.
Kisses
Bye.
from mommy.
This has been a 58 Ember production. For more shows, please visit the 58 Ember channel, 58ember.com, or find us at 58 Ember Media on socials.